going, everybody? How the hell are ya? Welcome back to the Nerdy Jock Nerd Talk. Thank you so much for checking us back out again. Guys, what a weekend. E3 has come, and it is still going, but the one that I was most excited for was Xbox, and I think they delivered. I think it went all right. Let's talk about it. All right, guys, so Bathesda and Xbox had their E3 launch on Sunday, and there was a couple of things that I was super interested in. Obviously, there were some things about some of the games that we all know and love. There was some Among Us stuff, but Starlight was one that I was looking at, and it's been talked about, I guess, for like 25 years at this point now. They had the trailer, looked really interesting. I think I'm going to keep an eye on that moving forward. Another one that caught my interest was the announcement of Grounded. They finally have brought in a boss now in Grounded. Now, if you haven't played Grounded, it's basically Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but it's a little bit more fun survival game. They have now announced that there's mushrooms now that you can actually utilize, you can build with, and their very first boss, the Broodmother, is now in the game. So coming out, I believe it's June 30th, looks super cool. I'm going to play it with my friends, and I have a fun time in that game. So I think it'll be great. And if you haven't tried it out, by all means, check it out. Also, Xbox is having a huge sale right now on their store, so definitely go check that out. A bunch of games, 50% off, 40% off. Check it out. There are games that if you haven't tried them, you got to try them now because the prices are just fantastic. Also, obviously, in the Bathesda Xbox launch, we finally got a little info on the Halo Infinite multiplayer. Yes, so now you can play Halo across multiple platforms all in one place. That I think is really cool. So I can be playing on Xbox, somebody's playing on the computer, we're all in the same place. I wonder though if some people might have an advantage over others. I would be intrigued to know that information. I don't think we'll ever find out, but super cool. Also, we got the Far Cry stuff. Far Cry 6 looks incredible. The cinematography, the lighting, everything about this game. The story looks pretty interesting too, so we'll see when that one finally hits. Everything just looked awesome. Man, there's a couple of games that I'm like, I want to get a hold of, but obviously we gotta wait. But E3 has been cool so far. It's the first one that I've really actually looked at, and because it's digital, I can actually kind of enjoy it a little bit. Little hard sometimes though when you got little kids running around to watch some of the games, so you gotta kind of pick and choose, but looked really cool, and I'm pumped to continue with what like Nintendo and those guys have. All right, guys. Also, last week into this weekend, they finally have launched Loki. Yes, Loki is now on Disney Plus. The first episode is out. The second episode is coming. Please, guys, tell me what you thought about the first episode in Loki. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. He's now, neck deep in with the time variance. We're talking about the master timeline. It looked really awesome. Little bit of an Easter egg. I don't know if you all saw it, but Peggy Carter might have come through the screen. Maybe, not sure, probably. Just a really great episode. It was one of those things where it was like, here's this Loki, he's just talked to Thanos, he's faced down Earth's mightiest heroes in the Avengers, and somehow these time guys have just sort of brought him to his knees. They've shown everything. It was just a really interesting episode, and I like where Marvel kind of they take what people normally do and they just sort of twist it on its head a little bit. So should be cool going forward. I can't wait to see more episodes. I want to know where this is going, because apparently this is going to lead into the second Doctor Strange movie with all the different multiverses. So looks really awesome. I can't wait. You guys tell me what you think about it. All right, guys, it launched last week, and I meant to do a video on it, but I'm doing it now. Critical Role has launched their Exandria Unlimited 8-episode mini-series, I guess, if you will, where we are sort of taking it from Campaign 2 to Campaign 3 will start later on in the summer, but this right now, they're sort of putting it in. It is 30 years after the events of Vox Machina. It is a decade after the events of the Mighty Nine, and Matthew Mercer is going to be a player. Yes, you heard it. Matthew Mercer is going to be a player. He's not doing the DM thing. So cool. There's a different cast of people. Obviously, Matt Mercer's going to be there. Ashley Johnson and Liam O'Brien, all from the returning Critical Role cast. And now they're going to have some new people showing up, which I think is awesome. And the new GM, Abria Iyengar, is taking the reins from Matthew Mercer in the world of Exandria. I mean, the world is so big. There are stories to be told all over the place. I think it's really cool. We're talking about diversity. We're talking about getting people into roles that maybe they're not necessarily always in. I think this is a great step for Critical Role, a great step for the community, and I think Abria Iyengar is going to do a great job. She's got some stories to tell. I know it's going to be in Matt's world. It's got to be nerve-wracking for her because she's telling a story about in the world that the guy who's over there literally created. I mean, her as GM now, what she says goes, and Matt's just got to deal with it. So that'll be fun. Anyway, it looks super cool. This whole thing kicks off June 24th. On the Twitch and YouTube channels of Critical Role. I'm looking forward to it. Apparently it's all pre-taped, however, so they're going to be able to edit it down so that it'll be a little bit easier to watch because, as any of you fans of Critical Role know, trying to catch up with Critical Role is a chore. I mean, you need to put in work. You're talking 3 to 4 hour episodes sometimes, and it's like, what was it, 140 something on campaign 2. So I think they're going to try and kind of pare things down, make things a little bit more streamlined, which, hey, I'm all in favor of. Obviously, as something grows, as something gets better, it's going to be a little bit more produced, if you will, in the long run, but should be really cool. I look forward to it. Again, campaign 3 is still coming, but later on down the road. This is what we got right now, and I can't wait. All right, speaking of tabletop RPGs, Marvel is launching a tabletop RPG. Are you kidding me? Cool. So cool. Yes, they're launching it in 2022 as a test rule book. And I know my friends and I, we've played Villains and Vigilantes. So you trying to create your own superheroes, but they're kind of bastardized versions of said superheroes. It's a very odd system as well, so I look forward to this in that we can play as the Hulk or as Thor or as Spider-Man, and we can kind of get down to the nitty-gritty. I mean, not necessarily playing as those characters, you're probably going to play as something else, but you can at least work them in, if you will. What I really like about this game is the fact that it is a playtesting rulebook that's coming out first. So we, as the consumers, can pick it up, try it out, see what works, see what doesn't, and then give our feedback back. And then they're going to take that, they're going to rework the rulebook if it needs to, and then they're going to launch again the full version in 2023. So this is something I think I really respect developers when they do something like this, where they're giving it to the fans and they're letting the fans kind of mold it a little bit. At least it feels like we've got a bit of a voice in this whole thing. I think that's super cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And if you're a fan of TTRPGs, I think this is something that you're going to get a hold of, or at least you should. So if you're a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of superheroes, and you're a fan of D&D or tabletop games, you got to check this out. So by all means, go for it. All right, guys, it's back again. I know it went away a little bit, but we're doing Game of the Week, Game of the Week. It's the Game of the Week, baby. I talked about it on a previous episode, but I'm talking about it now as Game of the Week. Ukatoa, everybody. Yes, speaking of Critical Role, Ukatoa the game has finally come out, and I am super jazzed about it. We tried it out the other day. I'm going to do a review on it in its own video, but the game itself, very cool. Minor things for me, just based on me liking games and certain things like that, but the actual gameplay I think is really fun. This is a game that really works well with 4 players. So if you've got a family of 4, by all means, get this game, check it out. You might piss each other off, but that's okay. Your family, you're supposed to piss each other off. That's the way it goes. This is a great game. I had a lot of fun, and if you're a fan of Critical Role, you're a fan of that world, I think you'll be a fan of this game. What I really like about this game, though, too, it goes really fast. It's a quick game, so you can kind of play a bunch of games and kind of rip through it and start to get a strategy, start to understand things. it's great. I really like it. I recommend it to you guys. Check it out. Pick it up. I believe at the Critical Role shop. I'll link it in the description down below if they still have some available. I'm sure they do. But this is their first release from Darrington Press. So by all means, check it out. All right, guys, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for checking out the Nerdy Jock Nerd Talk. Again, if you liked the video, smack that like button. If you really like the video, smack that subscribe. Remember, it helps me out with this whole algorithm and growing the channel, people. But remember, guys, it's always game time. Let's go, baby!